Okay, so Steph, so far during this conversation, he's talked about being a singer, being uh,
Minnow hunter.
a minnow hunter, a
Yes.
psychotherapist, an actor. He's also been a professional speaker and a keynote speaker. And I think you have a good story that you could share with us about that. Is that right, James?
I do, yes. Okay, yeah. So I do. This is hysterical. All right, so as a keynote speaker, of course, I'm in person, but there was one. I won't say what it is because I don't want to besmirch the great stuff, the great topics that I talked about. But there was one. I love to tell the story because I do not take myself seriously at all. If I trip and fall, I'm the one that laughs, the first laugh. And that's happened many times. But so this one time I was a keynote speaker for a really big event and like really influential people. So here I am. It was an well, I don't want to say the time because I don't want to give too much information, but it was later in the evening. And 2 hours before that, I'd eaten a lot of food and I had felt really bloated. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a Lasix. So a Lasix is a diuretic that is prescribed, of course. And so I was like, that's going to be good. I'm like, I have a photo shoot the next day. I'm like, amazing. And so, of course, everyone take your medication as prescribed by a licensed person. So here I am. I went ahead and I took it, and just before, and it was 100 milligrams. And I could have swore God was like, James, don't take it. I'm like, why? I'm like, I'll be fine.
I'm a licensed professional here.
I know, right? I know everything clearly. I mean, I'm the keynote speaker, so everybody clearly I know what I'm talking about. 2 minutes before it starts, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom. So I ran to the bathroom, came back, polished, and thankfully this was a video one like this because it was during COVID. And
so this is recent. This isn't when he's 13 years old.
Oh, I can't say. That's what makes it worse. So here I'm like, I know the time because I went back and looked at the timestamp. 8:24. All of a sudden I'm talking and it just hits me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Have you ever been in a car and you have to go to the bathroom so bad and you'll really run over anybody because you just have to go to the bathroom?
Never.
So picture that times 1,000. So here I am. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, I can just run to the bathroom. But I was like, well, no, I can't. I'm like in the middle of a conversation and they're asking me questions and it was a really good conversation. So I was like, the show must go on. So I just was like, why not? So here I am talking, talking away about ways you can really enhance your life. And all of a sudden it just went for like a good 3 minutes. And I'm sorry to be vulgar, but that's real life. And then I'm like, oh, thank God I'm done. 15 minutes later, hit me again. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so just can't even. So here I am. I don't want to say I can't say too much. But when I was talking, there's a part where you see me talking, and it was during the second time, and you see me look down because I'm like, I just bought a brand new rug. Where is my dog? Am I peeing all over him? And I was like, what? And I was literally freaking out. But once again, the show must go on. You'll never know, Although you can hear a couple splashes here and there because that's how much it was. It was 100 milligrams. So once it was done, I was like, oh, thank you so much for letting me be a guest in your show. I'm so honored. And then as soon as we hung up, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, so grossed out. I didn't burn everything. I threw everything away. Thankfully, my rug was not affected. My dog was fine. But that was like, of course, James, of course, you should have listened to what you were told and you did not do it. So everyone, that's a life lesson. Do not take a diuretic before you have a speaking engagement because you will regret it many times.
100 milligrams, by the
way. Because I normally would take like 25 and I'm like, I'll be fine. I have a photo shoot tomorrow. I need to look good. So
yeah,
vanity.
I look good for this photo shoot.
I know. So that's what vanity does. So don't ever allow your vanity to make you wet yourself while you're speaking.
So when you go to relieve yourself, can you see a facial change in your response? Like
a split second. And I was like, when I went back and looked, all of a sudden, because I'm in so much panic, I can tell that I was in panic mode. And all of a sudden there was a moment of just relief for a second. And then I just kept talking. And it was so subtle, but of course I sent it to my sisters and my mom. They're like, we can tell when I tell them what happened. And then I was like, oh, it's trying to be so subtle. But if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But it was a really It was a moment that I will never forget.
Well, honestly,
recorded.
let's be honest. We've all had that moment. Like the fact that you said the car ride, like you've all had that moment where
Oh
you're
my
like,
gosh.
Too many
people
times.
like go.
Too many
You're
times.
yelling at people just
Oh.
to, I don't care.
And the
how
closer
fast
you
you're
get to where,
going.
the closer you get to where you go, you feel like it's just you're going to burst.
Oh.
Yes.
It's bad.
Well, then you park the car and you're like, oh dear God, I don't think I can get out. Right?
Yeah.
You're just like, this isn't, you don't even want to move until you're mentally like there. Oh,
Yes.
it's awful.
James, I wish the end of your speech would have been, hey, thanks, guys. And then you stood up to like walk out of the room. And you could see your pants as you like walk away.
Oh my God.
That'd be like the
Oh
final
my God.
scene.
Have a blessed day.
Right, have a blessed day. God bless you all. Stand up.
Oh
and
my
walk
God.
out.
That would be wrong. Oh my gosh.